In Memphis, nothing comes easy, and that's exactly how we like it. This is a city built on hustle, on heart, on grit. And at Carway, our rides are built the same way. Tough, reliable, ready for the grind. No games, no gimmicks, just Memphis-style service. Real, honest, and built on trust. Where grit meets grind, you meet your next ride. Carway, grit, grind, and Pink Beetles. In Memphis, we know a thing or two about resilience. From the grindhouse to the Delta, we protect what's ours. But when pests invade your home, it's time to fight back. Grade A Pest knows how to handle what crawls, flies, and bites. With local experience and guaranteed results.
I'm Reggie with Grade A Pest Control. We service the Memphis metro area. That also includes DeSoto and Fayette County as well.
Grade A Pest has the entire Mid-South covered. So if bugs and pests put you to the test, let Grade A solve your problem. Bluff City Media presents the Two Buck Sports Show with your hosts, Rusty Buckets and Uncle Buck. Now, let's get to the show.
Welcome to the Two Buck Sports Show with your host, Rusty. We haven't seen you in a minute. Buckets.
What's up, everybody? Appreciate the intro, Wayno, the master on the mic, Mr. Wayne Hunt, Wayne O Paints on Instagram, joining me again today, hanging out. I appreciate that, man. Yeah, I've been without internet since moving in over here and finally got internet fixed yesterday afternoon. It took me like 4 hours to get it fixed, but we have internet. We back in action. We back in business. And as a guy told me at the gym, shout out Trey at Crunch Fitness on White Station. He came up to me the other day and he goes, "You podcast?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "I see you pop up in my algorithm all the time." He said, "You got a lot to say." I said, "Ain't none of it worth a damn." But I'm back with a lot to say about the happenings yesterday for the Memphis Grizzlies, man. Just what a day, you know. It's going to be one of those days where I'll always kind of remember exactly where I was, Wayno, when it went down. But we're going to get to all that here in a minute. How you doing on this bright and early, Thursday morning across the pond?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I've had, a few hours for everything to sort of sit and simmer and run the thought process. The heart's a little heavy, I must admit, probably a little bit more than I actually thought. I was more worried about you because you woke up with like a closet full of throwbacks.
Yeah, I did, man. And I appreciate the somebody needs to do a wellness check on me and the Anthony Sane comments yesterday. I definitely had a lot of feels. Like I didn't even get to finish reading it. And Uncle Buck called me as I was reading the trade. And it was like, "Hey man, I just saw you good. You look good. You good?" And I was like, I hadn't even finished it yet, man. I'm still trying to figure out what happened. And it took me a while to kind of wrap my head fully around it, Wayno. And so we'll just dive right in. Normally we do buffoonery to start the show. I'm not in the mood for buffoonery today. Sure. We're just going to kind of dive right into what happened yesterday, and that is Jaren Jackson Jr. got traded to the Utah Jazz. Not only Jaren, though, Wayno, kind of laying out the full trade. We sent out Jaren, Vince, Jock, and everybody's favorite, Jitty, got sent out to the Utah Jazz. And in return, the Memphis Grizzlies are getting Walter Clayton Jr., Taylor Hendricks, two former first-round picks. Clayton a little bit lower. I think Hendricks was a lottery pick a couple of years ago. He missed most of last year with a broken leg. Kyle Anderson of Memphis Grizzlies lore, from a part of the team from 2020 to 2022, affectionately known as Slow-Mo. Georges Niang, who I have a more NBA ready body than, and then a 2027 first, another 2027 first, the one of them being a pick swap, one of them being, I believe, Cleveland's, and then the 2031 is the Lakers. Oh, 2027 is Phoenix. 2031 is the Lakers first round pick. So we got some future assets and then a player for player swap. What was your initial gut reaction to the trade?
I don't like the trade. That's just being straight up. I understand the NBA landscape has really shifted this season with picks. Like picks have really jumped up in value. And like you only need to look at the, Trae Young getting traded, and that was just a 1-for-1. And it's like, man, like a season ago, 2 seasons ago, like that is filled with like picks and young talent and stuff like that. I don't like the trade because I don't give a damn about any of these players. Nope. And I don't care to invest in them. And I just thought for what we were giving up, I thought we gave up a bit too much, to be honest. Like the fact that we're walking away from Vince and Jock as well, like adding Jock into that is just crazy to me. I'm like, what's like, because also like I feel like this really reinstates Zach Kleiman for another 4 years.
Oh yeah, you don't make this move if your job is in question,
right? And then also like, I feel I've said all week I feel like we've got another season of our coach. However, people may feel like that. Having time to sitting on it though, I find it really hard not to feel a little bit sorry for Jared, because I mean, you can say what you want about like the holes in his game and stuff like that, but even if Jared has hit his potential, then that's what you want out of your players, especially the ones that you draft. Like you want them to hit their full potential, whatever that looks like. And I find it real funny online that people are still defending Jar and still and good on him, if that's your guy. Yeah. But they don't.
I did it for Jaren for a long time, so I get it.
They don't show the same courtesy to Jared, which I think is a real shame. And should like if you wanted him gone, that's fine. But like also like you got to respect the guy for putting his hard hat on every single day, clocking in, because we've got some pretty high paid guys on the roster that don't do that.
Yeah.
I will just say this before I hand it back over to you. The trade is a byproduct of Jar's immaturity, of the front office failure to build and also the misfortune of injury.
Yeah.
That's why I feel sorry for Jared, I think, because there's so many other elements in this trade.
Yeah. I feel that. I have a lot of emotions about it, and maybe I'm not the best to talk about it because I am so pro Jaren, because he was the pillar of consistency. He clocked in every single night. Even 2 years ago when he was playing with a bunch of LA Fitness hoopers and future State Farm insurance agents, like he played with 40 something guys that year, and yet he showed up. He had a great season in the midst of literal hell, and he played his tail off. And so for all his flaws, and he had them, look, yes, he was not a great rebounder, but there's not a perfect NBA player out there. Everybody has flaws. Everybody has shortcomings. Like you said, a lot of people wanted to pile on Jaren to offset. And I think a lot of it was compensation, because they didn't want to kind of go after their moody superstar hero, Ja Morant, who, if I had to put blame across injuries, Jaren, Ja, in the front office in order, it's probably Ja, front office, injuries might be tied, and then Jaren. Because if Ja develops a mid-range jump shot, if Ja doesn't hurt his shoulder, which is not his fault, if Ja progresses his game at all, like, this is a completely different team and different conversation. Ja Morant got worse when the rest of the NBA got better over the last 3 years. The facts you can't argue with that, because the stats. Well,
I was going to say, and the prime example of that is Utah, who we just traded, who like leapfrogged us, and now got even better.
Like, Ja Morant did not do anything to get better. Yes, he would give you these little flashy games here and there where he'd go score 40, or he'd have 24 and 12, and he'd show you glimpses. but half of it not his fault because he would get hurt. It's not his fault that Daniel Tice hit him with a screen. Christian Coloco took him out of the air after Jake Larivee threw an abhorrent oop pass lob. Like, that's not his fault, but the moodiness and pouting and checking out in games, quitting on your team when you're held accountable by Tual Cicelo, that's on Ja Morant, and that is his fault 100%. Now, Jaren could have done things. Yeah, he could have rebounded better, but at the same time, Jaren is a perimeter big. Like, there are perimeter bigs, and there are some guys who do both well. Cat does both well. He shoots the 3-ball really well, and he rebounds really well. Like, that's the thing. Jaren is an elite number 2, number 3 option. And the fact that we didn't have our number 1 option for all these years under Jaren, I feel bad for Jaren because he got the brunt of a lot of people's frustrations that I think was misaimed. It should have been aimed at Ja Morant, but he got the brunt because he was actually out there playing. And Ja Morant gets the pass because the last memories we have of Ja Morant actually playing consistently were awesome, right? When he played in 2022, he put his stamp on the NBA that this was my league and I'm next. I'm up. And that's where people remembered. They see Jaren out there slogging through games with Jordan Goodwin and like all these guys that are like a lot of guys who are not even in the league. Timmy Allen, not even in the league anymore. And he gets the brunt of the frustrations when he just suited up, was a consummate professional, and is in a better spot now in Utah because he can be a number 2 to Lauri Markkanen, and he can let Ace Bailey be a number 2, and he can he's got an anchor big in Walker Kessler when he comes back from injury, like he had with Steven Adams. And I don't know if you remember, Wayno, but when Steven Adams was our center, Jaren was the defensive player of the year.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm like it's sad to see like the finals, or not the final stamp of it all washing away with with the Tide, but yeah, it just sucks because it's like Jared loves Memphis, and you don't need him to say that. You don't need him to get a tattoo of it on his back. You don't need any of that. Like you
saw
it, through his actions. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I really feel bad for him. In saying that, going to Utah for Jared is going to do him wonders because they're going to win some games, and I'm sure they're going to, it's been covered on the internet. They've got a slew of bigs right now. They'll figure that out one way or another, and Utah are going to be pretty good.
Next year they're going to be really good. You watch. There's going to be some lineup tomfoolery throughout the rest of this year, so they can keep that 2026 pick in the lottery where it is now, so they can get one more good young player. And next year, Utah's going to be a team to reckon with in the Western Conference with that much size and athleticism and that many different diverse skill sets. Jaren's going to thrive in Utah, and that team's going to be really, really good. Yeah,
look, and I know the picks are, it's all about what Zach Kleiman can do with the picks, and does he use them or does he package them? So there are options there, obviously, and yes,
we'll talk about that.
Yeah, he drafts pretty well, but he's had some misses too. I just get real worried when. Potential, dangerous word. I say it all the time. It's such a dangerous word. I just would have liked to seen us get a young player that we could have invested along with Coward, along with Edey in the return with Jared, because having picks doesn't get you winning now. It doesn't do anything really. It's just it's the weight of hope, really.
Yeah, which we'll get to that here in a minute. To kind of wrap up Jaren and his legacy here in Memphis, I asked this question. I'll ask you this question. I asked this question about Ja Morant when it first came up that he was going to be on the trade block and out of Memphis. Do you think Jaren has done enough to eventually have 13, hopefully 13, not 8? We're not going to retire 8, but to retire the number 13. Here's just while you're thinking about it. He was an all-rookie first team, 2-time All-Star, 2-time NBA blocks leader, 3-time all-defensive team, a defensive player of the year, was mentioned, again, top 8 in the MVP ladder last year, was 1 vote away from an all-NBA team. Do you think Jaren's done enough to get his jersey retired?
I'm going to say no. And that's not out of disrespect. It's because what did they really do?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, I can understand the argument for Tony Allen because they were a real culture shift. You know, they really did just put us on a map. And I don't know about you, but like, especially over like this last 3 seasons, you know, I'm sick of being a what if team. Like, I am fed up to my gut, and I'm sick of being like the blunt of Dylan Brooks' joke when he comes to Memphis. You know, like the dumb comments. So I'm kind of like, in a way, I'm kind of like happy to wash that, because then next time that Dylan Brooks comes into Memphis, what's he going to say? Jared's not going to be here. Like, Jar's probably not going to be here more than likely. Like, I just want that nonsense gone. So I'm just sick of being a what if team. What if everyone's healthy? What if Zach Kleiman put in this person? What if we didn't trade Dylan Brooks? Like, I'm just sick of that nonsense. I want to get back to some winning basketball, and like tearing it all down and start it again. It's never fun and never easy when you're when your favorite players are going out. But I do think it's time, and I do think we probably, like I've said throughout the week on the show, we have too many glory day players on this roster, and I just feel like, you know, the league's moved on, like you mentioned. The league has moved on, and I think we probably should have too.
So you got 3 no's in the comments, and this may surprise some of y'all, but I also agree. Like, I love Jaren. Jaren's one of my favorite all-time players. He's like top 3 or 4 all-time Grizzlies for me. And we didn't Ja and Jaren, the whole Grizz next gen legacy to me is going to be a what if. And we talked about that. Like, we wanted to avoid that. Drew and I think you were in on that conversation on the show. Like, we talked about that before the season started, that we didn't want this legacy to be what if. And unfortunately, the legacy is what if. What if Ja had stayed healthy? What if we had actually replaced Dylan Brooks with, like, the timing of missing in the draft? Because Zach Kleiman doesn't miss often, but the timing of the miss after Dylan Brooks left, you know, or at the timing with Dylan Brooks leaving, missing on Zaire and Roddy, like, it just didn't, the timing was poor. So again, there's plenty of blame to go around. ZK, Jaren, the coaching staff, Ja, injuries, bad luck. There's plenty of blame to go around. But to me, if your legacy is what if, that's not worth the jersey retirement. To me, if we have made like a Western Conference Finals, like the Grit and Grind did, flip the culture, if we had actually won something of meaning, then that would be retirable. NBA fans know that Jaren Jackson's DPOY year was earned. Casual fans think that it was not. But like, that's, to me, that's a great individual award, but not enough to get in the Raptors, in my opinion.
Yeah. And, you know, it's that thing too, like, not that he didn't work hard or anything like that, but you want whatever jersey's going to that rafter, you want them to earn it. Do you know what I mean? And you want to earn it because of winning and positive culture change, and probably unfairly, like, Jared probably ticks 2 of those 3 things. So it is I mean, hey, like, I think King Mix mentioned it, like, you know, if they did a Jaren celebration at the stadium, like, that's dope. I'd definitely be down with that, you know. And
I think they should do like a day, like a Jaren Jackson Jr. when he retires, like, let him come back, like, be celebrating when he comes back for what he was. But no, I don't think so. I think that he unfairly gets, like I said earlier, the overcompensation for people's unwillingness to blame Ja Morant and only blame Jaren Jackson Jr. is wild. You see it in every fan base, though. Every fan base has got their guy that they just unfairly hate on, and Jaren is ours. Like, it is what it is. And his legacy is going to be mixed, but I think over time, as the dust settles, he goes and he's dominant in Utah. We struggle for a couple of years, and we're going to talk in a minute about kind of the rebuild and what's next. But like, I think a lot of people are going to be eating crow and singing different songs in 3 or 4 years about Jaren. Hindsight's always 20/20. There's going to be a lot of side switching and being like, oh, you know what? Yeah, having a 20-point per game perennial all defensive team, DPOY candidate was actually a really good thing.
Yeah. And look, it's you know, I've said,
hang on real quick. So I don't need to do that. If Kendrick Perkins is your like barometer for what people think, then that's foolish. People like the vast majority of the NBA covets a player like Jaren Jackson Jr., a true unicorn. The vast majority, if you listen to other teams' broadcasts when they play us, they have nothing but compliments and praises. Again, like I said at the beginning of the show, he's not perfect. He didn't rebound really well. He's struggling in the playoffs. He's not perfect, but he's a damn good basketball player. And being unable to admit that is kind of sad. But breaking news.
Oh,
we have a special guest on the $2 Sports Show, a guy some of you love, most of you would accidentally step on if you were walking around. I'm talking about the man, the myth, the legend, the Power Ranger himself, Mr. Drew Gann, back in the building. What's up, Drew?
Yes. Don't get it twisted.
Oh no, he's gonna have cell phone issues. Oh, what a anticlimactic return.
Classic.
I'll let him get that figured out. Man,
Classic
what in the
Drew Gann
world?
move.
We had him for a hot second. Way to tease the people, Uncle Buck. Way to tease the people.
We got our own unicorn. We
Yeah.
got our own unicorn at BCO.
Yeah. Again, like I was saying,
Yeah.
Jaren's reputation across the rest of the NBA and read Dion. First time I've seen you here. Appreciate you being here, hanging with us, man. We love the comments. They drive the show. I'm just going to respectfully disagree because I do listen to other podcasts. I do listen to other broadcasts. I do listen to other teams talk about it. The only one that's clowning him is Kendrick Perkins. Everybody else has had very positive things to say about Jaren and his game. Again, recognizing flaws when they're there, but Jaren is a good NBA player. Uncle Buck, welcome back for the second time.
Yeah. So, anytime I get a call, apparently it's going to kick me off. I don't know. This is going to be short lived. Just real quick.
Yeah, give us your
I'm
thoughts.
not a special guest. My name is on the show. This is not a guest appearance. It's still mine. Dang it.
It was a joke.
Okay. I'm letting everybody know I didn't quit. Okay. The duty calls.
Yes.
We are getting the lights on around the world here. So I'll be quick. Jaren Jackson Jr. getting traded hurt a lot more than I thought it would. I know Rusty, last time I think we were on a podcast, you said something to the effect like, I don't even care anymore. Like you could trade him. I'm just not going to be indifferent. And we'd all kind of hit that point, but then it happened, and now it hurts. And it makes me sour on the return that we got, but I think I'm going to need a little bit of space to separate what I think the return. It may be more fair looking back at it once I separate myself from the emotion of Jaren Jackson Jr. not being on this team anymore.
Sure.
I don't love the picks because you got a Phoenix pick and an LA pick that are going to be good. I think Phoenix has shown you expected Phoenix to be bad this year, and they're being good. There's no reason to think they won't be good going forward. Same thing with LA. The only weird thing about LA that could result in them being bad is injury or LeBron sticking around. And I think everybody knows that this is his last year in LA, and there you're going to have the Dallas Mavericks.
Dallas Mavericks right on cue. Gets a call, gets kicked out of the studio. But I mean, he's got a good point about the picks, Wayno. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think anybody expects us to keep those picks. Like, I don't expect us to keep those picks. I think we have got a war chest. Probably not the best phrasing with Robert Perez's recent troubles, but we've got a war chest of draft picks that we can go get. We've got a litany of assets that we can use. We also created almost $40 million in cap space, along with a $28 million trade exception, which simple math puts that near $60 million. So kind of as we transition off of Jaren and kind of what's coming next, and we can still come back to Jaren if Uncle Buck gets back in. If y'all have got comments, again, y'all are driving the show. We love hanging out with y'all. Pop in, let us know your thoughts. We'll argue, disagree, tell you you're right. You can tell us we're wrong, but all you got to do is give us a thumbs up while you're here. We appreciate it. Helps in the algorithm. But with 13 essentially first-round picks, 12 first-round picks over the next with a pick swap, like there's a really, really good chance that we're going to be a team. We're going to be active. I said we were going to be sellers. We were sellers if you look at the trade that we just did. Now we're going to be buyers because we're going to take on some bad money, Wayno, to where we're going to be able to bring in some contracts that may not be very good. They're not going to make Grizzlies fans happy, but we're going to do that and bring in picks with it. Toronto has come out and said that they're interested in getting Domantas Sabonis, but this morning I saw a tweet where last night on their show they said that, or in their pregame, they said it's kind of stalled a little bit because they don't want to give up a lot of first-round picks in order to move Jakob Poeltl, who the Grizzlies were linked to, which tells me that the Grizzlies are holding firm on getting back a haul of picks to take in a bad contract. Uncle Buck, you were saying about LeBron going to Dallas.
Yeah, I was just saying in regards to that Lakers pick. Once LeBron leaves town, I have no reason to think that Los Angeles Lakers wouldn't turn into the same expectations and results that the Dallas Mavericks were when it was just the Luka show. And so that was just my point. I don't know that either of those picks are going to turn out to be great picks, but
and I don't think we're going to keep them, is what I said when you left. I think we're going to move up.
That's the point I was going to make. Like, you've seen Kleiman package multiple picks to move up. Like, I get all that. The thing that's the real beneficiary of this is Zach Kleiman, because he has just rigged the game to a speed in that he excels at. The game got too fast for him. He couldn't keep up with being a contender. And so he just reverted this team back to where he excels at, and that is drafting players and having lots of assets to do that. So he's the real winner of this. Tomas Isolo is the real winner of this, because you just got a definite boost of confidence from the front office. Like, everything you draft from now forward is going to fit into Tomas's system. This is an identity, whether you like it or not, and I don't. That is going to be the case. And ultimately, and this is kind of where I'm sitting at right now, this is where I've been sitting at since it happened. I blame one person. I was on Ja all year last year. I was on him for, I feel like Taylor Jenkins was the first casualty of Ja Morant. Zach Kleiman didn't help that any by undercutting him before the season started. I think that Taylor Jenkins was the first casualty of Ja Morant, and Jaren Jackson Jr. is the second casualty of Ja Morant. I don't think there's any other way you can look at it. There's a lot of Ja stands out there. That's fine. I root for the Grizzlies. He was bad for the Grizzlies. He single-handedly tanked all the momentum we had. Yes, Rusty, I heard you briefly earlier say that injuries were unlucky. That's right, but I agree with Wayne 100%. There's a reason why we don't call him injury prone. It's because he milks the injuries.
Yeah.
And that single-handedly led to, in the most critical year, Zach Kleiman said it coming into the season, this is the most critical year for Ja Morant in this franchise, in this uniform, and he tanked. He tanked, and it resulted in his trade value diminishing so much that you had to trade Jaren, the player that the city loved the most.
Yeah.
It's sad. It's disgusting. And at this point, I was always pro holding on to Ja till you got what you thought he was worth. At this point, he just got to go. Like, there's just no way around it. And it's sad because Wayno, you may be able to attest to this. I know, Rusty, you've seen this. The thing that's the saddest about it to me is that I broke the news to my kids last night. They were upset, but they won't be as upset as they will be when Ja gets traded. And you've got a lot of equity, you've got a lot of money, you've got a lot of love built up into that. I've got family pictures where every member of my huge family has on Ja jerseys and shoes. Like, it's an abandonment of a franchise for selfish reasons, and I don't subscribe to it. It's not a mindset that I think is healthy, and I guess it'll be the next team's problem.
And I said earlier, I don't know if you heard this or not, Drew, but it's an overcompensation. People's unwillingness to blame Ja has led to a vast over negative view of Jaren, because Jaren clocked in, he showed up to work. The last memory people have, like Kendarius and some of these people who are Ja stands, and shout out Kendarius, like, he doesn't think Ja's going anywhere.
Right.
You're going to be sorely disappointed this time tomorrow.
I just don't think you trade Jaren and don't trade Ja.
Exactly. Yeah. But like, people, the last memory people have of Ja Morant playing consistently is 2022. That was 4 seasons ago, and he was awesome. Like, he was great. But
listen, I was one of them.
Jaren strapped in every night, suited and booted, and played on these bad teams, and so he gets more of the blame because he actually plays.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. And Ja was the beneficiary to out of sight, out of mind a lot.
And Kendarius is kind of counteracting himself. He's saying that, like, Jaren didn't, or contradicting himself. contradicting himself. I'll say it right here in a minute. Jaren was playing with a bunch of State Farm agents 2 years ago. Like
Listen,
Timmy Allen, dudes that had been in the league. But like,
it's the reason why I stand so hard for like the Laravias of the teams. Like, buddy, they're not supposed to be playing this role.
Yeah.
Jaren was always faulted for not being a superstar alpha. Well, you know what? He's not supposed to be.
no.
And you know what? He's going into Utah where he has the most accolades of anybody on that team. And
That
so
team's
you
gonna be
need
good next year.
you need to hope that somebody's going to take the reins. That Laurie Markkinen is that dude that can lead a locker room, and or Ace Bailey turns into that.
This is John's fault. John didn't play. This is John's fault because he didn't play.
It is because he's the one that's forced this whole organization into roles that they're not supposed to be playing in.
100%.
And yeah, Zach Kleiman deserves a little bit of blame for that. But we talked about this with Marc Gasol for a decade. Like, why can you not just be the dominant guy? And it's just not in his makeup. Like, and at some point, you can't ask a zebra to change his stripes, and you've got to love him for what he is. And that's what Grizzlies fans, what Jaren wore on Grizzlies fans, myself included, Rusty included, Mr. Jaren over here. But it's always, if you can treat the symptoms or you can treat the cause. The symptoms were Jaren. Like, Jaren can't do this. The root cause, the cancer, was
Say it
John
loud
Morant
for
not
people in
playing
the back.
basketball.
Say it louder for people in the back. You said John Morant didn't play basketball.
So, and you can't tell me right now, we just traded Jaren Jackson Jr. You couldn't tell me right now, if we rewinded this a week and Ja was playing basketball with Jaren, that we're not having a totally different conversation right now.
Totally different.
I won't be convinced.
Totally different.
Like it's a good leader holds everyone accountable and themselves accountable. And we've never gotten that. How many years, Kendarius, are you like? What's the magic number for Ja to grow up?
Yeah,
I mean, he can drive a car, he can flash his gun, he can go get a beer. Do you know what I mean?
It's a cop-out argument for somebody who's just a big Ja fan. And listen, the NBA is littered. New school fans, and I don't know how old Kendarius is, and I'm not picking on him. I'm using him as an example that he may not fit in. But new school fans cheer for players, not teams. And if you're going to be that guy, you're going to just ride for Ja, and you're going to make excuses for Ja, and that's fine. I root for the Memphis Grizzlies. He was a cancer he turned into a cancer to this team, and it resulted in an actual, like, legitimate good dude getting persecuted unfairly for multiple years and traded to Utah.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly right. And I asked Wayno this. We had a conversation about this earlier. You and I talked about Ja a couple of weeks ago. In your opinion, we've had the comments answered. Wayno and I have answered. Drew, has Jaren done enough to get his, not number 8, because that's goofy. I blame half of this stuff on him changing numbers. But getting number 13 retired, 2-time All-Star, 2-time NBA blocks leader, 3-time All-Defensive Team, Defensive Player of the Year, and All-Rookie First Team, fringe All-NBA player. In your opinion, will 13 go in the rafters?
I don't know. My initial instinct is no. But I could see a Vince Carter situation to where if you move on and have massive success, win a title like Marc Gasol did, and say Utah, if that's where you break through, and Utah retires his jersey, the Grizzlies retire his jersey. If this is the most accolades that they get, then probably not. Ja's definitely out. I think Ja's definitely out. Sans a return and a title down the road, but like, no, I think Ja's out. Listen, but organizations retire jerseys for different reasons. LA, you kind of have to win a title, in New York and Boston, and then Chicago retired D Roses, who's most notably known for the youngest MVP and the biggest what if in college in NBA basketball. So I don't know. The Grizzlies have only retired jerseys for cultural icons. I don't know that Jaren is up there yet.
We talked about that. This team's legacy is what if. The grit and grind had a legacy. Culture, toughness, a Western Conference final run. They had a legacy. To me, the legacy of Grizz Next Gen is what if, and what if doesn't get your number in the Raptors. Although Joel brings up a great point here. how long will it be before they retire the number 46?
Now that's one I would get behind.
That's a statue. Statue.
Hey, real quick, I was thinking about this, and I'm gonna have to hop off. I didn't do the research, but off the top of your mind, all right, we've got to assume John gets traded, and take Brandon Clark out of it. Is G.G. Jackson the longest tenured Grizzly?
Mm-hmm.
He's in his 3rd season.
I believe so. Santi Aldama would be the other one. Santi, yeah.
It's Santi. Yeah,
yeah,
you're
it
right.
is Santi. Real quick, I saw Jared's comment here. I wanted to throw this up and let's talk about it before you get out of here, Uncle Buck. Like, the Grizzlies have only been out of the playoff picture for 2 years since 2010. We did a quick rebuild after grit and grind and got back in with Grizz Next Gen. I don't really have any concerns that this is going to be a long, drawn-out rebuild process, given the depth of this year's draft, the flexibility that we have, the assets that we have. Like, we could get a splash trade signing this summer and then go get a couple of really good dudes in the draft. Drew, I'll ask you, and then we'll go to Wayno. Like, I personally don't think it's going to be a long rebuilding process. Like, what are y'all's thoughts?
I mean, we got extremely lucky with getting the 2nd pick in the draft, getting John Morant. That's what.
And you know what happened? Real quick, you know what happened prior to that? We traded a franchise beloved player to the Utah Jazz.
I hate those things. You know that. Like,
I'm just saying.
I hate drawing false parallels.
I'm just saying.
Because it's never like, oh, who else in history have possibly traded a really good player for lots of picks and it sucked forever? Like, that's more likely. That there's more teams that dump good players for picks and never come back. But listen, Kleiman does this really well. I don't think that we're going to turn into the Charlotte Hornets or the Brooklyn Nets. I don't think that's what's going to happen. You do have to get lucky, but the draft is a lucky game. It's an odds game. You know, you got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them. And so, I don't know. I will say real quick, this is the last thing I'll say. I'll let Wayno take it over. The one thing that's really bothered me, I mean, just made me irate, is all the national media who are just so pro blowing it up, saying that this was a win for acting like the Grizzlies did right by this. It's made me so mad that it's being celebrated that the Grizzlies decided to blow it up. And it just goes back to my anger towards John Morant. Because no, this did not have to happen. The Kevin O'Connors, the draft nerds who say the only way to get good, if you're competitive but not a title winner, then you should blow it up. Everybody should blow it up. They're just circling their wagons and making the Grizzlies just the winner of this situation. I hate it. I hate it.
Yep.
It's such a dumb argument. Like, you can't dodge competition.
Yeah.
What are we supposed to do? Oh, well, we're not good as
if you can't compete
OKC,
with Oklahoma City, you should just tank it. Well, guess what? 2018 should blow it up right now.
Such a cop out.
And like, anything worth holding on to is worth fighting for. And like, I don't want to dodge these teams. I want to beat them and beat them on our own merit. And there's so much more weight. And that's why grit and grind was so good, because we did it on our terms. You know, we did it with all heart, grit and grind.
We did, and we beat the Spurs, who were on a generational run. Like, we beat the boogeyman. We were like what Ric Flair says: to beat the man, you got to be the man. And we were the man back then. We haven't been that. Ja Morant's been ducking teams for 3 years, and we won before Ja. We're going to win after Ja.
And
like, I just
value.
think
there's value to being competitive.
There is.
There's value to being in the middle. No, being in the middle, being in the play-in every year sucks. You know, I get that. It doesn't suck as bad as being trash every year.
And look, man, Kendarius, you can come in here and tell us every day that we're not going to win without Ja. We're not going to win without Ja this year. This is going to be a really bad year. You might as well be cheering for the sun to come up. Like, we're purposely losing the rest of this year to get better in the future. And like, you can show up and we'll gladly interact with you, but it's a silly, mindless take is what it is.
It's dumb because you're not winning with John Morant when he's not playing. Because nobody is making the argument that the Grizzlies are better without John Morant if John Morant is willing to play basketball games.
100%. The
Nobody's
idea of
making
John
that
Morant,
argument.
the theory of John Morant is a Western Conference contender, but that's all we have. Again, Ja gets the benefit of the doubt. You said it perfectly earlier, out of sight, out of mind. The last memory of Ja playing consistently was awesome, but we don't have that. Like, they hadn't had that in 4 seasons. Yeah,
I do think Kadarius has a point. Kleiman's got to figure out a way to get better people around him.
for
But
sure.
the CBA has put that in such
You
a
know,
hard way because
Mhm.
the CBA's killed the organic growth of teams, especially if you're not wanting to pay the tax. And our
Exactly.
owner's about to like be extradited to Russia possibly. So like I'm sure he's not going to want to pay the tax either.
Yeah.
All right, I got to go, guys. Appreciate you guys. Miss
Yeah,
you guys.
man.
I'll
Miss you,
be
buddy.
back soon.
Miss you, buddy. See ya. But yeah, man, like he's right. Like the onus is on Zach Kleiman now, right? We're talking about kind of moving forward. We're likely going to go pick up a bad contract. Jakob Poeltl's name keeps coming up from Toronto, being kind of that third team that gets Sabonis out of Sacramento to Toronto. And then we get back Jakob Poeltl and some picks. Like I was saying before Uncle Buck came back, it doesn't seem like they're willing to give up those picks. And I'm glad and proud of Zach Kleiman for standing on business because Jakob Poeltl's contract is awful.
Yeah.
And if we're going to take on something like that, it's going to take a pick. And I would stand firm on a 2026 pick because of how the draft is and what we need. Because I kind of agree with Joel Pettit. Like Oklahoma City didn't have star players. They do now. They developed into star players.
Yeah.
I don't think we need to go get star players. We need to go find and don't hear what I'm not saying. Like, I know this is once in a 1 in a million shot, Wayno, but we need to go find our SGA, a guy who's good, but not quite a superstar yet, and then allow him to play consistently, something John Morant never did, and develop into a superstar. But I don't think we need to go get one.
Yeah, I think you just let, action speaks louder than words. And it is that thing where, first of all, if the only reason you keep Jar on this team is if you're bringing in Giannis right now. That's the only reason. If you don't think that's a possibility, then there's no reason for him to be here. And if you're I'm annoyed a little bit of what we got back for Jaren.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't imagine how kind of annoyed and ticked off I will be on our return on Jar. Do you know what I mean? Because it'll be it'll be unfair and it'll be a salary dump. I'll tell you that right now.
And it's all Jar's fault.
The teams
they see it.
He doesn't
They
play.
see it. They see what we see, us rational fans. They don't see it from the lens of the Josh stands. They see it from my logical brain's taking over now. I love Jaren Jackson Jr., but this was the right move because now we have assets to go rebuild this team. I do like Walter Clayton Jr. that we got. Maybe that could be our SGA. I'm not saying he is. The early returns aren't great on him, but Walter Clayton Jr. has film of being a really good college basketball player who didn't get a good fair shake in Utah. Maybe you cut him loose here in Memphis and he develops. We don't know that, but I am a fan of stripping this down to the studs and to me, keep Cedric, keep Edie, and keep Gigi. Other than that, let's start all the way over.
Yeah, I'm not invested in any of these guys coming back from Utah, like I said at the top of the show, and I don't really until they can show me something. Do you know what I mean? I just feel also the deal isn't finalized. You never know if there's going to be a third team jump in and change the angle on this. I do find my biggest thing is really moving forward. I said this the other day with Kenny. It's if our new core is Edie and our new core is Cedric Coward, then
and don't forget Cam Spencer, according to Joel.
Yeah, look, but he's not on that tier for me. I love Cam. I love his heart, and if we're building a team on courage and heart, then he's probably number one, to be honest. But I said to Kenny the other day, it's if that's our investment now, I want a support piece for Edie. Mm-hmm. I don't want this team, what we saw this season, with better players than what potentially we're going to have starting off coming back. I don't want to see the team fall apart when Edie's not playing. And I think we need to invest in in some insurance, some Edie insurance, So yeah, so I suppose that's my kind of take on it all. Like if that we're moving ahead with them.
Yeah. And this is
Like-
the draft to do it because, in my opinion, there are two post players at the top of this draft board, being Cam Boozer and Caleb Wilson, who are high motor, high intensity, aggressive type bigs that could be a great support system for them. I get Cam Spencer. Like, I get all this. He had 1 turnover and 5 assists last game. I get that. There's also a world where you sell high on Cam's value, and if it can turn into a good pick, you sell Cam Spencer at a high value. I love Cam Spencer. But, like, same could probably be said about Gigi, and Gigi's my guy. But, like, you want to, like, in a rebuild, you want to sell while the value's super high. We're seeing that with Ja because we're not getting any returns. But if some of these other cats, maybe a Santi Aldama, a Cam, can bring back a good return, pack you bags. I appreciate what you've done in a loaded draft like this, because Boozer and Wilson are both guys that you can, like, plug in and build around. Kenny made this comparison on the Anthony Sane show yesterday, and at first I was kind of like, I don't know. I think Paolo's more athletic, and whatever. Then I went and watched some Boozer film. There are shades of Paolo Banchero in that, where he can beat you off the dribble. He can beat you in space. And then Caleb Wilson is so raw, Wayno. He's 6'10", still figuring out how to be 6'10". Kind of reminds me of a young Jaren when he was in college, where he doesn't know how big he is yet. But they are absolutely two guys that could plug and play with Edey. Now, in the backcourt, I'm a big fan of the Wagler kid from Illinois. That dude is aggressive. He competes. And I watched him on Saturday for the first time against Nebraska. He competes his ass off. Sorry, mama. And that's what we need in this team, is a competitor.
Yeah, look, I'm going to side on caution. And this is what I'm going to tell you guys all out there watching and all Memphis fans moving forward. And it's what I sort of said at the start of the season when we were all really high on this Phoenix pick. It's like, don't bank on the picks.
No.
Like, do you know what I mean?
There's a difference in banking on the picks and recognizing that there are some good players out there.
Look, smarter people than me watching college basketball. So as an NBA fan, I have to rely on these people. And from, the guys that I watch on a regular basis year round when it comes to the draft and players entering, like, they are all echoing the same thing. They are all echoing that this draft is, you're going to get some real dynamite players coming out of it. That being said, we've seen dynamite players miss before. So I'm just saying, don't rely on this draft and the fantasy of a top 5 pick for us, that it's going to solve all our problems moving forward. Yes, the depth is high on this draft, and that doesn't mean I'm saying we should not be involved. We should definitely be involved in this year's draft, and that's Zach Kleiner's job to get in the mix.
Yeah.
And that's what I think this Utah trade has done for us. It's got us back in the mix, back on a better playing field if the ping pong balls don't bounce our way initially. So I just say, side of caution, like, don't invest everything into this year's draft, because we've seen draft busts. That's a thing throughout NBA history, and you just never know where we're going to fall.
I kind of agree with that, but also at the same time, like Jared said here in the comments, we're small market. We have nothing else to do but bank on some of these picks because, like Chugs and Bugs says here, Ty said Gigi Edey and a top 10. He says Boozer, but a top 10 pick would not be a rat lineup. That would be a fun, energetic, athletic lineup. And for us, like, we got lucky once before. And listen, man, like, I'm not saying if you win the lottery once, you're going to win it again.
Sure.
But, like, we've gotten lucky before. So stranger things have happened. Not the show. Yeah. The ending was terrible. But, like, stranger things have happened, right? And, like, we could go get, like, there's just so many guys in this draft that could be a good piece. I hear what you're saying for sure, but there are pieces in this draft to where you can go get a dude that can plug alongside, again, Ty, said, Edey, Gigi, and be kind of really good.
Look, man, I'm with you guys, right? I'm right up there. That Caleb kid out of North Carolina, like, he's the one I got my eye on, and I'm like, if that's your guy, please go get him, because he looks amazing, and he rebounds, and he's motor, and the potential on that kid looks fantastic, and he's going to bring, if we got that kid, like, like, he would bring a different element, a different game than what Jaren did. Do you know what I mean? In a positive way as well. I just don't totally subscribe to the whole we're a small market team, we can't get big names. I think that's garbage. I think that's a loser mentality as well. And it only
just
takes
haven't
one
done
yes.
it yet.
Well, it only takes one yes we get one yes, like that conversation is out the window. As I've said, like I'm glad we're in those conversations. Yeah, we missed out on Kevin Durant. Do you know how many teams weren't even in the conversation for Kevin Durant?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
and the same argument could be made for the draft. All it takes is one hit, and you're right back in it.
Sure. And we had that, right? We had that with Jar. So
for 3 years, 4 years, which was great. Of 7, right?
But
your point is valid. Like you can't like I am a victim. I'm a victim of reacting out of emotion with Gigi and got out over my skis. Now it's coming back around that I was right. I was just a couple years early, but like I'm like Centil, never wrong, just early. And so like we've got to take it with a grain of salt. And that means we're going to be hopeful in the draft. We're going to be hopeful in the offseason for getting a free agent. But the reality is we're going to, based on ZK's MO, and I don't think I'm speaking out of turn by saying this, but based on ZK's MO, we're more likely to try and take some big swings in the draft, maybe try and trade up into the top 15 for 2 different picks instead of just having the one, than going out and taking a big swing on a headlining free agent this summer.
Yeah. Look, I don't want to talk about it too much more because I'm just sick of like talking about Jar. But for me, like the lesson learned is you need your guys to buy into the system. Because your guys buying in the system, that creates the culture. A new GM can come in, a new coach can come in, and they can implement their style. Every coach in the league has their own style, has their own theory of how to win games and whatnot. It takes the players to create the culture, okay? And that is your leaders on the team. As I said before, think of how bad we were this year. Think how bad we were last year. Not one single players-only meeting to bring everyone back in line. Not a single one. And I think that speaks volumes. And quite frankly, if our leader is not going to hold himself accountable and the team, then what are we really doing here? Do you know what are we really doing here? It doesn't matter what the system is either. It doesn't matter. You just need to buy in. You need to be that pro and you need to turn up and invest because everyone's going to feed out of it. If you don't want to lose, then why are you not investing? Like,
because coaches come and go, systems come and go. Like it doesn't matter what the system is. You have to be a professional and show up and play basketball. Like I know it's not the same because he's a professional athlete, but if in my previous corporate job, if I showed up for work 60% of the time, my ass is getting fired 100% of the time. And if you're not showing up to work, it doesn't matter. What the system is, who the coach is, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. And so we need people. We need guys like I've been saying all along in the group chats, like I'm done having a global superstar. I'm done having a superstar on this team. Core 4 kind of guys are what I'm looking for. It's who was it Joel? Like, the superstar basketball for the most part, I don't love. I like watching solid committee basketball, which is what the core 4 were. They were superstars to us, but they weren't superstars league-wide, as he says here. And so, I'm all for that. Give me a guy, like I've been saying in the group chats, give me a guy who builds Legos, watches anime, knows a shit ton about trains, and just hoops. Like, I don't need a prima donna out there on walking the catwalk like Jaren was trying to.
It's not tennis.
Exactly. I don't need Josh selling a bunch of shoes in China because it doesn't win us any basketball games. I want some nerds, and I want some dudes that can hoop. Just give me a bunch of Cedric Cowards who just show up and play basketball, and I'm completely fine with that.
I think we cap it there on that. That's good.
The Grizzlies do play tonight, where we might leave Ja Morant's scrawny ass in Sacramento, where the Grizzlies play at Sacramento. We're a 1.5. That's it. That's ZK's going to walk him over and say, "Welcome to your new home, buddy." It's like the old meme of the Jets player trying to get in the facility. His code doesn't work. He's going to try his code on the locker room door, and it ain't going to work. But the Grizzlies are a 1.5-point road underdog at Sacramento. You can get the Grizzlies -106 over on FanDuel. Wayno, I think we kind of wrap it up there, man, as I've got a hard out. Catch me on ABC 24, the 24th Floor podcast in about 45 minutes or so. I'm going to be on there. Richard Dennis is going to be a great continue this conversation, talk about injuries. It's on my Twitter page. Check it out. I'll be on there. Any final thoughts about the Grizzlies and kind of what's to come? I know, prepare yourself, Kendarius. Josh supposed to get traded, buddy.
I would just say, like, just quickly, the Sacramento game, it doesn't matter if, like, we're rebuilding. It doesn't matter who we start at center at this stage.
Yeah,
So,
we've had people asking, like,
don't worry.
who the hell starts for us tonight? What's the lineup going to look like? Like, it doesn't matter. Yes, I want Cam Spencer playing point guard because it's going to help us lose and get better draft picks. But get ready for a bunch of nights if Santi doesn't get traded, Wayno, where Gigi's our 4 and Santi is your starting center. Like, that's going to happen. And that you have to be okay with that. If you're a fan of the name on the front of the jersey, you have to be okay with that, because Santi's skinny tail getting beat up in the post helps us get Cam Boozer, Caleb Wilson, Darren Peterson, helps us turn the page.
Yeah. Look, I'll just throw this. We don't have to answer it, but I'll throw it out to everyone out there. I just wonder what this looks like. What's the, I suppose, the definition or the move forward now with Ty? You know, that's my big
Ty's
question.
sticking around. I think Ty's going to stick around. We've got him on such a cheap deal, like such a cheap deal. Nobody was beating down his door to overpay him. We got him on a really, really good deal. That's the kind of veteran you need. He's been freaking hooping in his first 2 games, and we're paying him little or nothing. That's the kind of vet that sticks around. KCP is not long for this team at a $21 million contract. Like, he's out. BC, $12.5 million, you're gone. But you can get Ty Jerome for less than $10 million, and he's got, 40-something points through 40 minutes or something wild. Like, it's ridiculous the efficiency he has. Like, that's the vet you keep because it's cheap. But if somebody calls and offers us an end of the first round pick for a Ty Jerome, he gone.
And he's going to get opportunity to play. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
Like, and you swing into another team, and he might be straight back that bench. I mean, it's that whole Jock thing, right? Like, Jock coming across. Islo gave him the opportunity to play and perform, and I mean, got sent to Utah, but hey.
Yeah. Well, hey, listen, we appreciate y'all hanging out. Hate to cut it short. I'm going to be back. Wayno, if you've got another day in Indy tomorrow, come back and join us again on the $2 Sports Show. You here, buddy?
Mate, I am in.
Let's go. You'll catch me and Wayno live tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. Central here in America, 4 a.m. Dingo Daylight Time, way over there in Australia. Appreciate you being here with me, man. But hey, we love y'all. Comments, Kendarius, you my guy. Reed Dion, thanks for being here. First time I've seen you here. Cohen, Kip, like, y'all helped drive this show. That's what Ninja DJ, King Meeks, everybody that was here. Will Manny, another one. He hopes Ty sticks around. I agree. I hope so too, Willie. Like, that would be great. But y'all drive the show. Thanks for being here with us. It's what makes us unique is we interact with y'all. Nobody else in the space is doing that. So y'all come give us your opinions. If you're watching this back later, let us know in the comments. Wayno and I check them. We all look at them. We want to know what your thoughts are. Y'all be back here at 1 o'clock for the Anthony Sane Show. For Wayno, for Uncle Buck, for everybody in the comments, I am Rusty Buckets. Y'all go be a friend to somebody who needs a friend, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you for listening to the $2 Sports Show. If you enjoyed this episode, leave a rating and a review wherever you download your podcasts. Also, like and subscribe to Bluff City Media's YouTube page. We'll see you back here next time.